Lust and Attraction, a dark mafia romance. Written by Olivia Ray. Narrated by Baxter.
Prologue. Nico Beneventi was the last to arrive at my holiday home in the Hamptons. He was never one to arrive on time or abide by the rules. It was not that the mafia trade had many rules, but Nico managed to avoid the few that were in place. His father, Luigi, was a good man. Some would say that he was the best of them all. Luigi was known as a fair and just leader. Of course, he was a criminal, but an honorable one. When Luigi made a vow, he kept it. Unfortunately, far less could be said about his only son. It was out of respect for the late Luigi Beneventi that Nico had gotten away with the things that he had done over the years. By the time we realized that we had to put an end to his antics, things had already gone too far, and he had too much power. We could take him, of course. My Bratva alone was enough to sink him, but the casualties would be atrocious. Too many people relied on the peace among the mobs. It was Akio Ishikawa who addressed Nico's tardiness. The Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, had no patience for him whatsoever, especially not after he slept with Akio's daughter and ruined any chance of marrying her off for an alliance. If we left him to it, I had no doubt that Akio would make the Sicilian mafia disappear from existence entirely, taking their piece of shit leader with them. Leaving a room with 8 crime lords waiting is not a good idea, Nico. I can assure you that we can plot many things in your absence. Oh, lighten up, Akio, Nico drawled, taking his designated seat at the end of the table. He braided his fingers together and put them behind his head. He was too comfortable for my liking, especially since he was in my house, wasting my time. Must you always be such a wet rag? Erlis Shehu, the Albanian mob leader, tapped his fingers on the table. In my country, we would have taken one of your hands by now. The New Delhi crime lord nodded in confirmation, his female translator standing as still as a statue after she translated the exchange. Nico shrugged. Violence doesn't solve every problem, Erlis. I snorted. He was one to talk. Nico was known for his brutal and violent ways. Although the rest of us might have been merciless, Nico was a full-blooded monster. I have seen the crime scenes where he was involved, specifically the dismantled bodies of men and women alike, arranged like a rose. That's his iconic symbol. Nico used their own blood to paint them red. I have seen his men go to town on an entire city, visit his drug trade factories, and deal with dealers. There was nothing about Nico that wasn't pure evil. Even the men who'd worked for him had the same aura. They craved for blood. They wanted people to fear them. Frankly speaking, most of the world did, except for the 8 crime lords seated around my table. Nico might be a scary man, but we could match him if we wanted to. He knew it as much as we did. But it is the most entertaining way, said Carrick O'Sullivan of the Irish mob. Carrick had never settled things peacefully. He enjoyed violence and chaos, as well as the thrill of the hunt and the kill. It was something that we had in common. There was nothing as satisfying as catching a person after a long chase and killing someone after doing some serious damage. I slammed my hand on the table, drawing their attention to myself. The translator didn't flinch, and I respected her for it. It took a lot for a man of the mafia to respect anyone but himself, giving each lord a look that dared them to say another word. I ended the argument. That's enough. Looking at Nico, I snarled. You called the meeting, but you didn't bother showing up on time.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?